Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the United Kingdom, and today I'm doing Halloween. I don't normally do Halloween, but I was set a challenge recently to use the colours Gorgeous Grape, Pumpkin Pie and Black, and that just kind of screamed Halloween to me. Do you get me? You screamed Halloween? Yeah, okay, really bad joke, but anyway, there we go. So I came up with this cute little card here because I hadn't got any Halloween sets, so I used Cottage Wreaths, which has got a boo and it's got a spider, and I just thought that was kind of a bit of fun if you were going to send a Halloween card. So on the inside I've just stamped the leaf image a couple of times as well, and it's distinct. These are distinctive stamps. So they're red rubber. Okay, you can't see it. Okay, they're not. They're photopolymer, so they are layering stamps, but they've got the distinctive pattern on them that we get as well, and that means that you can layer them up really, really lovely. And here you'll see I've got my spiders and I've got leaves, so you could turn this into just an autumn wreath if you wanted to. Anyway, there we go. That's the card that inspired me. So while I was doing that, I was kind of going, well, if I'm making a card, I might want to make something Halloweeny. And punch art's been around forever, but I just thought this was great fun to create a little pumpkin shaped box because I saw these cute little Halloween kind of chocolates. And it just fits kind of 4 of those in there. Now, to give you an idea of the size, if you haven't got these exact chocolates, the Bloxx also fit in there just perfectly. So there we go. So that's what we're going to do today. And as I say, you can just fit 4 of these little figures in there, just as a little gift. And I popped the little boo on. Obviously, you could leave off the spider and things if you wanted to. So quick and easy. Doesn't take very much in the way of cardstock. I actually prepared two sizes that we'll do as well, so it'll take a little longer because I'm going to do 2 different sizes so that you can fit other things as well. So to start off with, then we're going to use our lovely double oval punch, and I've just cut a strip of pumpkin pie here, and all I'm going to do is simply punch for each one 5 of these simple ovals like so. So I'm going to need a bit more card, I think. So there's 5 for that one, and then I'll need 5 for my second one as well. Absolutely fine. So and all I'm doing is feeding that in from the side, and the 1 inch just gives it enough each side, you can see there, so it's not getting caught either. If you go to the actual width, which is about 7/8, you're going to risk trapping, and you haven't got that bit of wiggle room that is ideal when you're doing these doing the punches, so that you can actually get it in. So once we've done that, you'll want to take your ink pad. You can see how often I use pumpkin pie. This is one of the old style ink pads. And I'm just using a sponge dauber, and I'm just going round each of those. Now that is really quick and easy. Now you haven't got a sponge dauber, you can just kind of roll it in the edge or use a blending brush. I prefer using a sponge or a blending brush to just rolling it. The rolling gives it a harsher edge, and I kind of wanted the shading to kind of give that shadow effect, to create out the creases on our pumpkin. So you can kind of see I'm just edging each of those, and what I'll do is I'll show you on the next one what I mean by a harder edge. So if you were to just roll it, so this is a way of edging something, you can just roll it in the edge like so, but you can see it's quite, hopefully you can see the one is quite kind of this, it just gives it a softer, sort of more shadowy kind of rustic feel to it. So, and creating these pumpkins is nice and easy. I don't celebrate. I do like a bit of Halloween. I used to carve pumpkins with my boys when they were younger. And that does go to that, having the tools and proper carving pictures. We've had witches, we've had, gosh, what else have I done? I've done a kind of an outline of a cat on a broom, things like that. The ones where you kind of prick out the design and then cut it. And I have got a couple of Halloween plates and some nice ceramic ones. And then last year I actually then made myself a couple of needle felted pumpkins as well. Those are quite good fun. So yeah, when I say I don't do Halloween, I kind of don't do Halloween, but I do. So if I get people knocking at the door, they do get some treats. So what you're going to do is take your central pumpkin, and you're just going to add Tombow to the outside. Now I may go ahead actually and use my Stampin' Seal for this, just for speed. But all you're going to do, and this is so easy, is you're simply going to overlap. And it's less than half a centimetre, less than a centimetre. So, and I kind of alternated them. So I kind of went from each side. And just kind of, now the beauty of using, and I'll sort of do it using both, the beauty of using Tombow is that obviously you've got a bit of wriggle room, so you can kind of shape your pumpkin a little bit, she says, throwing it about. The downside is obviously A, you might get a bit sticky, and B, you might end up, it might end up kind of smudging. I want to say smudging, if it's squidging out over the edge. So I'm just going to, let's give it a go. Having said I'm going to use a seal, yeah, I'm going to use Tombow. So I'm just, let's say each time I'm just literally kind of, as I say, what is it? Let me measure it. So it's about 1/4 of an inch. I'm doing, which is about 6 millimeters. So there you go. So once you've kind of got your general pumpkin shape, now what I've then used is you want to do the stalks. So you take a bit of, I've used Granny Apple Green here, and all I'm doing is I'm lining it with my track just to wet the other side of where that cutting bit is, so it's super fine, and I'm just cutting little strips like that. So it is, all of a couple of millimeters in width. I might as well do 3 or 4 of those while we've got them there. That's going to give me plenty. And then I've also, she says, I've got my, I've put it down somewhere. I've misplaced my other punch, which I'm using, which is the bow punch. Okay, it'll turn up in a minute. We're going to punch some leaves as well. So when I find that, we'll be good to go. Okay, so to create the spirals, you just need to wrap it around something sort of fairly slim. Now I just kind of, this is an old pokey tool, and I kind of wrapped it around something a little bit bigger first, and then the end I kind of wrapped around the sort of pointy end of a pokey tool. You see, that's kind of making it much tighter and just helps kind of create those sort of little tendrils that you get on the end of your pumpkin or your gourds or anything else. Other things you could use, the inside of a biro is also another one you could use, as long as you kind of wrap it fairly tightly. You can see I'm using just the end of the embossing tool here, and just wrap it round like so. Okay. So then you end up with a sort of spiral. So I'll do that again, just rolling that around. Those of you who've got quilling tools, that'll work. And that one I've actually wrapped up on itself, so hopefully we'll be able to just pull that stuff out. There we go, like so. And then you can cut those off to suit whatever you want. So grab your punch, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this sort of longer, slimmer leaf. So about an inch. This is one I haven't measured, because all I'm going to do is use that top kind of trio. As I say, it's not really a pumpkin leaf, but it was as good as I could get, because we don't really kind of do one. So all I'm doing is just punching that sort of top edge of those leaves. So there we go. I've got 3 different leaves there. At least I will have if I clean the debris up. So now I'm just going to trim down the leaf. I'll probably pop that there. Just pop a little bit of Tombow on the back. Like so. And then all I'm going to do is take one of those little off-cut punch pieces and just cut a little strip, which I'm going to pop at the back in the middle to kind of create the stalk. That's just going to go. And once that's in, just leave it to dry, and you can always trim that down later on. So we've kind of got our spirals. I'll just do one more because we're going to do our second box. So yeah, the reason I was going to do the bigger box, so I'm going to do a bigger sort of squarer box, one that you could obviously then add more pumpkins to front and back if you wanted to, but because look at these, I got eyeballs, I couldn't resist. I just thought they were such fun. So yeah, so that's what. There we go. Big kid at heart, big kid. Okay, so I'm not going to do the spider and the boo. They're very straightforward. As I say, just use your cottage wreaths to do that. Or will I? Oh yeah. Go. I'm all at 6 and 7s. Dead easy. Let's grab a bit of fun with those. So let's pop those to one side while those are drying. In fact, I'll do my. Let's add the stalk to the top of this one, because that can be drying while we're waiting. So again, just literally one of the punched pieces. That's going to be my top there. Make that. And I can pop my leaf ready to go on the front as well. Do a little bit of stamping. So I'm just going to grab, and this is really just to explain what I do. So what I actually do, hopefully you can see that if I take that spider off there, is I'm just stamping in the bottom corner where it's sort of, hopefully I've got it reasonably square. And having done that, I then cut that out freehand. So I'm just going to come up roughly cut that reasonably square. It's usually on the ends that I struggle. I'm better on these because obviously you can just use the length of the scissors and line it up on the along the wording. Makes it a little bit easier. And then I've just got a bit of gorgeous grape here. And again, I'm just going to pop that in a bottom corner. So obviously one of your corners is generally at a right angle already, so that just makes it a bit easier. But if you pop it along one edge, that's one fewer edges that you've got to cut by hand. So pop that on there. And I guess being Halloween as well, you know, if it's a bit wonky, kind of goes with the theme. Actually, really sad. If those of you who are in the UK, the Crooked House burnt down and was then demolished recently. So the Crooked House was Britain's most crooked pub, I think it was well known for, but it was amazing. If you went, made you actually feel quite seasick to go in because it was so wonky. And some people bought it, and very shortly afterwards, not suspicious much, I think is the general consensus. It burnt down, and they are looking into arson. And then literally within days, it was bulldozed. So it wasn't just, you know, burnt down, but it was totally demolished. So a lot of sad people in around here because it was a real kind of iconic place for many people, and just on the heart of the Black Country, which is the industrial heart of the Midlands. There we go. So there's our two pumpkins. There are our two boos. Now let's get on, while those are drying, with our little boxes. So boxes. So the smaller one. To make the smaller one, you're going to need a piece that is 9 by 9 centimetres, and on one side you're just going to score at 2 centimetres. I will do the measurements in inches, I just haven't got round to it yet. And then on the other two sides you're going to score at 3.5 on each side. So you're just going to do a simple little grid. To make the larger one, you want a rectangle, so this is actually 10 by 11 centimetres. So on the 11 centimetre side, the longer ones, you're going to score at 3 each. And on the short side, you're going to score at 3.5. And at 3.5. Okay, so really simple scoring, just a simple grid on both of those. Burnish our score lines, and our construction is the same idea for both of them. So grab your snips, and you are going to, with the short score in the middle, just snip up that centre one. And it's very simple, open topped box, which does mean if you are going to make them as little Halloween table favours or as little gifts to give away, then really quick and easy to make. And it's exactly the same on this one. So again, we're going to cut here and here, and tab it. Sorry, I didn't say before, but just tabbing that middle one out. And I'm actually going to cut that down slightly because it's kind of square. It's going to get a bit bulky in the middle if we're not careful. So 2 straights either side of those narrow score lines. Just tab it out, notch it out, whichever you call it, and just take sort of approximately half the width. Next, it's glue. So let's just put some glue on those tabs first and fold up the first side. Do the same on the other side. Okay, and then just put some adhesive on the outside and pop it around the outside. Okay, so there is our little, say, so simple. So exactly the same on this one. A bit of glue on the tab, a bit of glue on each side of those. Now, if you want to do it quickly, you know, you can use your Seal Plus instead if you want to. These are quite, because they're such a simple box, it won't take much time for those to dry. It's not there. So you've got two little boxes here. You can see the difference in size. Now, to make the handles, I've just got a piece which is about 15 centimetres, so about 6 inches by 1.2 centimetres, so about half an inch. Just stretch the fibre slightly with your bone folder to create our handle. And then this one, I am going to use my Seal Plus on the outside of those. So you just, as you can see, on the outer curve, because I'm going to just pop that on the inside of my box, like so. A little bit more careful on the other one, because obviously that one just sort of fits in. I'll put a bit more. That one. So just line that up broadly with them generally in the middle. You see there, and the same again. Now, I haven't glued that one quite square. It isn't going to matter. So there we go. So having done that, I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back. In fact, I'm actually going to add it to the front of our box, because it covers the front of the box and you don't want to worry about it overlapping. So there we go. Pop the front, put it on the front, stand it up so that it sort of sits on the bottom. So when you put it on the front, just make sure you don't come down to the corners. And then just to attach these, all I did again was just put a little bit of adhesive on them. Actually, yes, I will, and I'll put that around the back of it. Trim. There we go, that one down. So this is where I tend to use a fine tip glue just to help attach as we want. I'm just going to snip off the end of that one and probably attach that behind. And again, you know, if you're making lots of these, you know, or dishing them out as little favours, you might not want to do this little stuff, twiddly bit. I'm just going to curl that back on itself. And then all I did was glued my boo to the end of that as well. So there we have our little pumpkin boxes. As I said, I've got these eyeballs, which I reckon are going to fit perfectly in that one. Yeah, look at that. Look at those. Great fun. Get an eyeball. And this one, as I said, perfect size for little blocks. So there we have them. A pair of fun little treat boxes. All that's left to do is add these on, and if you want to purchase any of the items, you can just pop along to my to Stampin' Up and choose as your demonstrator at checkout. Search for me, Heidi Smith, or alternatively you can use the host code, which you'll find on my blog for the current month, and that will automatically select me as your demonstrator. So thank you for watching. Come back and see me again soon, and have fun Halloweening, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.